Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, you're going to meet a bright young entrepreneur who's about to launch a new app. It's a life optimizer. I'll let him explain next.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
All right, we live in a world of apps. There are literally billions of apps out there, but how do you separate yourself from other people? You do that by solving a problem that just about everybody has, and that problem is, how do you organize your life? There are many apps out there that deal with work, but what about your home life, your social life? In studio right now, Brandon Ward. He's the CEO of Keysha AI, and he has put it all together for us. Tell us about Keysha AI.
Yeah, so Keysha AI is your smart executive assistant. Basically the assistant for the everyday professional. Keysha manages not just your work life, but also your personal life, your family life, your relationships with yourself, your spouse, or your team.
And this came from a real need that you saw. You were telling me right before the show that you have ADHD, so staying on point becomes a challenge. Well, that describes millions of Americans.
Yeah.
So tell us about how you came up with the idea.
Yeah, so like you said, being ADHD, you have to be really particular about your schedule and your time if you want to perform at a high level. And so for me, I like to record what I'm doing, when I'm doing it, and go through that every day. It's a series of steps. I've read many productivity books, Productivity Ninja, Atomic Habits, etc. I've done coaching, and it's all based on the habits and systems that you do, and that is what determines your level of excellence. So that does require a time commitment. I mean, being productive in itself is almost counterintuitive because the time that you spend trying to be productive sometimes can make you less productive.
Sure.
And so I really did not want to have to think about how am I going to do this. I know what I need to do, but having to schedule it and let other people know what I'm doing, and there's just all this stuff that comes with it. And so I thought to myself, I need a personal assistant to do this for me, a smart personal assistant that learns me over time, reads my behaviors, gives me analytics, and that I can connect it with other people so we can all stay on the same page.
Yes, we're going to pull up his website because it's a beautiful website, and I like the graphics. I like what you've done with it. Tell us more about, you're in the pre-launch phase of your business. What are the challenges you face so far?
Yeah, well, the first challenge is actually this website. We're in the process of redoing this right now. So if you're watching this podcast and you go to the website and you see something different, it's still us.
Okay. So tell me about funding, marketing. I mean, there's a lot of things.
Yeah, I think it's making the right decisions and learning from them, because every decision, whether it's right or wrong, is really not based on whether you succeeded or failed, but did you learn from that decision? And so in a startup, you have to continually learn, iterate, get feedback. If you make the wrong move, it's okay. Just make a side step, but you have to know when to make that side step. On top of that, you have resources. If you have a very small team, it can get challenging. There's so many things to do when you're running a business. As you know, Jeff, it can be overwhelming, which is also why we made Keysha, is to make that easier for you.
Outstanding. He's also very involved in the community. I know you're part of the Dallas Junior Chamber, which is awesome. We've got some pictures of you out and about speaking, being on podcasts, networking. Tell us, you have a very active life. Tell us about this.
Some people say that.
What is this shot right here?
Oh, yeah. So this is us at the MixerCloud event. MixerCloud is a technology event in Dallas. and it's hosted normally at hotels. And there's normally 300 to 400 people just in technology, not always, but professionals in general, and they just come together and they network. We had a booth. This was our first beta launch for Keysha, so we bought a booth. That's why speaking on stage, we had a prize giveaway. Got people to sign up with the app. We got a lot of feedback. It was a great event.
Nice. And this next shot?
Yeah.
On a podcast?
Yeah, this is The Pod with Garrett. I actually met him at an Aspire event. The last one had David Goggins and Mark Cuban. But we met, we connected, and he asked me to be on his pod, and that's kind of how that happened.
That's cool. And this is another podcast?
Yep. This is Eric. I met him at a Success North Dallas networking event. Same thing. I feel like you go to these networking events, you meet people, you connect with them. If they have a podcast, they ask you, hey, I want to share your story. And so that's how that happened. And then he introduced me to you.
Yeah.
Now I'm here.
Yeah. No, life is great, and you really do have to circulate to percolate. Let's talk about the power of networking.
Circulate to percolate. I like that.
Let's talk about the power of networking, because obviously being involved in the Dallas Junior Chamber, that's all about networking.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
There are a lot of young people your age who just, they hide behind the computer. They're not out there shaking hands.
Yeah. And that used to be me. My mentor told me, you need to start networking. Way back, I said, I want to be an entrepreneur. And I was lucky enough to have a mentor who's also my boss that also supports me building my own company. But yeah, so networking is very powerful. As they say, your network is your net worth. And it sounds cliche, but it's really true. I mean, networking is how I met you, Jeff. Mm-hmm. Networking is how I found resources to allow me to build my app at a lower cost. Networking is how I've met just people that introduce me to other people that give me support, provide resources, and it comes full circle, because the more you network, the more you're able to help other people and connect people with who they need to meet. And so it's really powerful. I can go on and on this topic.
Sure. Well, there's a lot of, your background is in software engineering, and so many people in your field are introverts and they don't actually get out and talk to people. And so I applaud you for putting yourself out there. Are you naturally an extrovert or an introvert?
No, I always thought that I was an introvert my whole life. I mean, I was a computer nerd growing up. I was in band. I loved playing video games. I didn't really see myself as an extrovert until I went to college, and I started to become more of an extrovert then. I think now I am an ambivert.
Okay, that's awesome. Well, in the last couple minutes, I want you to give advice to the other young people out there who are saying, one, I loved what Brandon's doing. He's taking chances. He's meeting people. He's taking risks. And I think there's a lot of risk aversion out there right now. So
right.
Why don't you talk to the young person who's struggling?
Yeah, I will say, whatever's in your heart, whatever is aligned with your truest self, do that, and only do things that are in alignment with that. An example would be, if you love music, but you also want a regular job, don't go work at a bank, go work at Spotify. That is also in alignment with what you do. If you have a goal to be a music producer, for example, working at Spotify could level you up to that. So even though it may not be in complete alignment, or it may not be at the main point where you want to be, if you only do things that are closely or similarly aligned with what your passion is, you will find your way. And the next thing is, don't wait. Get started right now. I wish that I had started this entrepreneurship journey when it was in my mind. And I always thought, I have to wait. I can only do it when I do this. This is the means to that. And if you chase that means to an end, then you will always be in the means. So start with the end right now.
I love it. That's a great, profound way to end this show. We're also going to leave you with his website, which is Keysha.ai. The great Brandon Ward. Thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
You bet.
Yeah.
That's it for now. We'll see you next time.